Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with the mighty Jingles. We're back on the test server and we're about to give you, and you know what, I've forgotten what it's called. Oh, this is embarrassing. There we go, the SU-122-54 review, the new Russian Tier 9 tank destroyer. But before we get on to that, there's just a couple of things I wanted to show you. Little new tweaks, enhancements, small things that aren't really worthy of slapping together a video for on their own. And one of those things is the new gun on the T-54. So there's the existing gun on the T-54, the Tier 9 100mm D-54, and it's not a bad gun, and it kind of suits the way the tank plays as a brawling, flanking kind of tank. However, you go to the tech tree, there's a new sheriff in town, the 100mm D10 T2C. I'm just going to call it the D10 for the sake of argument. So we'll compare the stats. Now, first thing you need to notice is that gun doesn't lead anywhere. It's 59,300 experience. Oh, by the way, the actual research cost of the T-54 has been lowered as well. If you go to the T-43, you'll see that it is... oh, it doesn't give you the research cost anymore. Well, I think it was in the... oh, wait, that's the T-44. There, wrong tank. Oh, it's just full of derp today. So, yeah, the T-54 right there. It was 160,000 XP to research. It's been bumped down to about, I think, 142,000. So that's good news. But as I said, it also gets this new gun. Now, note that that gun doesn't lead anywhere. If you want to get at the T-62A, you're going to have to unlock the D-54 gun in the first place. So if all you want to do is get to the T-62A, don't worry about that gun, just unlock this one. And it's still a perfectly good gun. However, this new gun is quite interesting. So there it is. Now, it has a faster rate of fire. Not that much faster, but whereas this one is almost 8 rounds per minute, the D-54 is sort of almost 7 rounds per minute. So it's sort of like half a round per minute faster, which is nice. Now it does have less penetration, 201mm, whereas the existing gun has 219. They both do exactly the same amount of damage, but this gun is 0.35 accuracy compared to 0.39 accuracy, and 2.3 second aiming time compared to 2.9 second aiming time. Now the differences aren't that big. You can still do just fine with the D-54 gun, but it does mean this gun is more of a sniper gun than that one, while still being pretty damn good for point-blank range shooting, because it's got a faster rate of fire. The penetration difference isn't that much, it's only 18mm, and it's still got the same damage. But it does mean that while you can still use this gun for brawling, it's a perfectly fine brawling gun, it's better for sniping than the D-54 gun, which really wasn't a very good sniping weapon at all. Horrible aiming time, bad accuracy. Whereas this one, reasonable aiming time, pretty good accuracy. So that's the trade-off. As I said, you know, you can absolutely 100%, no problem, continue using the D-54 gun on the T-54 and it will be fine. And if you want to get to the T-62A as quickly as possible, that's the way you're going to have to go anyway. But if you fancy mixing it up a little, or a bit, but not a bittle. Yeah, if you fancy mixing it up a little, and you just want to make the T-54 a little bit more versatile, give yourself some more options, this is the gun that you're going to want, because it's just as good for brawling, and it's a better sniper weapon. So there you go. In fact, I'm going to research it now. There it is. Hooray. There were also a couple of other additions, not really worthy of being mentioned on the patch notes. For example, oh, and by the way, you can scroll that. You don't need to use the scroll bar at the bottom. You just click and drag the screen, and away you go. Forgot to mention that when I did my initial heads up. But if you go to the French tank destroyers, and I think, was it the UE-57? No, it was the Renault FTAC. Tier 2 French tank destroyer also gets a new gun. Yay, a new Tier 2 gun for the Tier 2 French tank destroyer. Yeah, this 25mm automatic. With 113 rounds per minute. That's actually pretty good penetration for an automatic gun, 50mm. Damage is abysmal as you'd expect, and horribly inaccurate, but very, very fast aiming time. So that's a nice little option for the Renault FT. There was something else, and I have completely forgotten what it was, but it wasn't that important. There was an addition to one of the weapons available on one of the... Oh, no, there it is. Got it. Here we go. The AMX M445. This also has a new gun. There it is, 105mm cannon. It's kind of reminiscent of the 105mm gun on the S35CA and ARL V39. It's just another option, because Well, I mean, while I thought the DCA-45 was a good gun on the AMX M4, it's a terrible gun on the ARL. It's a terrible gun on the V39, but it's not a bad gun on the AMX AC MLE 46. It's kind of, the same thing. So instead of, I mean, the gun options on the AMX M4 weren't that good. The DCA-30 was not very good at all. The F3 was all right. The DCA-45 is a decent gun on the AMX M4, but now you at least have another option, because that was really the only real gun that was worth putting on this thing. Well, now there's a choice of two. So you can either go with the DCA-45, which, and again, it's kind of like the T-54. You don't have to go through the DCA-45 to get to the AMX 5100. You don't have to go through this 105mm gun to get to the AMX 5100. You've got the choice. You can either go stock gun, 90mm F3, straight to the turret, and then to the AMX 5100, but you're probably going to want to choose either one of these. Neither of them are essential. And here's the stats. So there's the DCA-45, 90mm, 105mm. This gun, by the way, is also available on the ARL-44 now. So, and as you'd expect, on the AMX M4, tier 7, tier higher, you get the better of the two stats. So 6.25 rounds per minute versus 6.7 rounds per minute. It's a slightly slower rate of fire, but there's hardly anything in it. It's like half a round per minute slower. Penetration isn't as good, but 165mm of penetration it's still acceptable for a tier 7 heavy tank. It does more damage. That's the big difference right there. Much more damage. 240 versus 300. It is nowhere near as accurate, however, a 0.41 accuracy. And the aiming time is, well, it's exactly the same. It's bad, 2.9 seconds. Although, having said that, I think it's No, it's 3.4 seconds for the 90mm DCA-45 on the ARL, and I don't know if it's 2.9 or 3.1 or something. It's pretty slow. So basically what you're looking at is slightly faster aiming time, worse accuracy, better damage, less penetration. Rate of fire, negligible difference. And you get the 90mm DCA-45, and you've got slightly better rate of fire, better penetration, less damage, more accurate aiming time. It's pretty much the same. So that's your choice, basically, more damage or better accuracy. But it's just nice to have the options. And of course, you've now got the same gun available on the ARL-44 as well. So, and again, these are completely optional. You get to the turret, you go from the turret to the AMX M4. You can choose to unlock the 90mm F3, which leads to both the 105 and the 90mm. Same guns, slightly worse stats on the ARL because it's a tier lower. So, yeah, there you go. I'm sure there are other changes around here somewhere. I'm just not sure what they are. Let me just research all the French artillery. And the reason I want to research all the French artillery is so I can show you something else. Now, you could do this yesterday, but it didn't actually show the badges. So there we go. And let's elite that. Okay, now we go to the Lorraine. And we'll research everything on there. And just keep your eye down here for the little pop-up message. The Batchat 155. And research the tracks on that, and bingo, we should now, let's have a look at the tech tree. Is everything, no, we haven't. Okay, bear with me here as I research absolutely everything in the French tank line, and once we've elited everything, yep, got that. Oh, H35. Still a few things on here we haven't unlocked. There we go, that's now elite. We need to do the AMX-38 as well. Sorry about this. And the AMX-40, which is elited. So back to the tech tree. Go down this line. We got them all. Go down this line. See the little elite icon next to the tank there. And you can tell which ones you have and which ones you haven't deleted. Oh, there's a couple of things here at tier 4 we haven't unlocked. And now research the tier 5. There you go. Service record, Technical Engineer France, Senior Technical Engineer. What that means is if we go to our service record and we scroll across, you'll see some new awards. And there it is, Technical Engineer USSR, researched all vehicles in the USSR tech tree. Technical Engineer Germany, Technical Engineer USA, Technical Engineer France, which means we have researched every vehicle in the game, Senior Technical Engineer, which is nice. So that was basically what I wanted to show you before we get on to the SU, and I've forgotten the name of the bloody thing again. This does not bode well. Yeah, there it is, the SU-122-54. So we'll crack on with that review now. Hope you enjoyed the little preamble. Hope I didn't waste too much of your time, but here it is, the meat and bones. That's why you came here for this video. New Russian Tier 9 tank destroyer. And we're pretty much going to be comparing it with the Object 704. So here it is, the various vehicle details. It has less hit points. 704, 1600, the SU, 1550, but there's nothing in it. It's 50 hit points less. It's a substantially lighter machine at 37.35 tons, even with a full equipment fit, as opposed to the almost 50 tons of the Object 704. And with a lighter machine and the same horsepower engine, yep, it's much more mobile. That is the SU-122's. That's its thing. It's the mobile Tier 9 tank destroyer. 48 kilometers per hour speed limit, and the acceleration is very, very good. It's got a very good power-to-weight ratio. It also turns much faster. I mean, almost twice as fast as the Object 704. The armour isn't as good. 100 millimeters at the front as opposed to the Object's 120, but it's very, very nicely sloped. A lot like the Object 704. So it looks like a 60-degree slope, so that actual thickness is it's going to be, well, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot more than 100. And it's angled at the sides as well, so you can expect a couple of good bounces off this thing, and I do find that to be the case. Also, the lower glacis is minuscule, very small target, hard to hit, and it's very well sloped too. Side armour is, again, not as good, 80 millimeters. Rear armour, again, not as good, 45 millimeters. But, you know, they're a tank destroyer. You don't expect them to have good side and rear armour. View range is exactly the same, 390 meters on both. Signal range is actually better on this thing. For some reason, it has a better radio than the Object 704. So, hey, there you go. So those are the basic stats. Basically, the Object 704 is a great big lumbering beast with a massive BL-10 gun. And the SU-122 is a very fast, very mobile, still very stealthy tank destroyer with this thing, the 130mm S70S. So we're going to compare that to the BL-10 and see what sort of differences we're looking at. So there's the BL-10. BL-10, S70S. This S70S, basically what you're looking at here is the IS-7's gun on a tank destroyer. That's pretty much what it is. How does it compare? Well, it fires almost twice as quickly. 3.51 for the BL-10, 6 rounds per minute for the S70. The penetration isn't as good. The BL-10 gets 286 millimeters of penetration, which is phenomenally good. But the S70s isn't bad. 260 is still pretty good penetration. It loses out in damage. It does not have the alpha damage of the BL-10. BL-10 750, this thing 490. But it is a lot more accurate. The accuracy is pretty good, 0.36, whereas the BL-10 is horrible accuracy, 0.39. Aiming time for both is exactly the same. And obviously the 130mm weighs substantially less than the BL-10, which goes towards reducing the overall weight of the vehicle, and is one of the reasons why it can accelerate so quickly and turn so quickly. You know, so there you go. Which is the better gun? Well, one isn't necessarily better than the other. They're different. This is a fast rate of fire, accurate, sniping tank destroyer weapon, and that is a great big derp gun. And they're both great in their own way. Now, look, going back to the armour, it's kind of like the Object 268, as in there are no real weaknesses in the armour, but it does have weak spots on the top. And here you go. It's got that rangefinder. That's a nasty weak spot on the top there. Frontal weak spot, well, the lower glacis, but look at the slope of it. That looks like an 80-degree slope. 75, 80 degrees. That is just, wow. A very, very well-angled lower glacis. And it's a tiny target. It's not really going to be very practical to take shots at that unless he's on higher ground than you, or he's coming up over a rise and he's angled up just to make it easier to hit that lower glacis. But even so, it's still going to be a difficult shot to take. The gun mantle looks pretty good as well. Shooting at that, and it's lovely rounded, bouncy, slopey front rounded plug of armour on the front of the gun there. I don't really notice the gun getting knocked out very often on this thing. And the area around the mantle is also extra armour. So I suppose you could probably call that part of the gun mantle too. Although when I say gun mantle, I actually mean the collar around the gun itself, rather than the fitting. But yeah, it's all extra armour. So yeah, shooting at the gun, not such a good idea. And the front is a 60-degree slope, and it is 100mm thick. So it is, from the front, it's reasonably well armoured and protected. It's a lot smaller than the Object 704, and I can't mean we can't see these ratings in the game, but it does feel like it is a very well camouflaged little tank destroyer. And with that mobility, it's a lot faster. It turns a lot faster. You're going to find that this thing dogfights reasonably well. The Object 704 certainly doesn't. I mean, 22 degree per second traverse, bad news. Whereas this thing is very nimble. And I do kind of like it, but it has absolutely horrible gun traverse. It's reminiscent of driving the ARL V39. That gun just doesn't turn very far to the left and right, and it does have a 2.9 second aiming time, so we're in ARL V39 problem territory here. I mean, you can have a tank destroyer that doesn't have very good gun traverse, but if it's got fast aiming time, that doesn't matter. You can have a tank that has a gun with horrible aiming time, like the Marder, but as long as it's got good gun traverse, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a tank destroyer that's got long aiming time and horrible gun traverse, you're going to run into problems. So it really means that this thing does function best as a long-range sniper. Kind of like the M18 Hellcat. While it is nowhere near as fast as the Hellcat, it is still one of the fastest tank destroyers around. 48 kilometers per hour top speed limit, and you have no problem whatsoever reaching that 48 kilometers per hour, because it's a very powerful engine for a light tank destroyer. So I tend to find that the best way to use this thing is to rush forward, occupy a strategic position, and hold that position, because you're kind of bouncy armour from the front, and you're very stealthy, and that gun, while it doesn't have the raw alpha of the BL-10, it still does around 500 damage to everything you shoot at. So it's equivalent to like a tier 9 or 10 heavy tank gun, which is exactly what it is. It's the IS-7's gun. So yeah, use that mobility to rush forward, find a spot, camp in it, wait for trouble, and then derp them in the face with this gun, and hold that position until backup arrives in the form of your heavy tanks or your mediums. And you can do really well in this thing, supporting the mediums. Just, don't rush up front with them, but follow them at a safe distance and derp away at whatever they're attacking. I just wish the traverse of the gun was a little better. Just an extra 7 or 8 degrees left and right would make this thing really, really good. As it is, it's just pretty good. The gun traverse is the single biggest problem on the gun. So, equipment fit. Well, enhanced gun lane drive, 2.9 second aiming time is on the side of bad. And, of course, large caliber tank gun rammer. You definitely want those two on this thing. For your third option, well, binocular telescopes wouldn't be a terrible idea. Or coated optics. I'd say if you're going to choose between the two, I mean, either could be made to work. You can either play this thing as a long-range sniper, and it absolutely works because the gun's accurate enough for that. And at long range, where targets aren't zipping across your field of view in seconds, you can make that long aiming time work for you. So if you're going to go down that route, yeah, binocular telescopes. But if you're going to rush forward, occupy a strategic position and lie waiting for the enemy while you wait for backup, then coated optics are probably going to be better, because you're going to find yourself turning the hull a lot more often as you try to bring the gun to bear. And well, having said that, if something's so fast, if something's so close to you that you're having to turn the hull, you don't need coated optics or binocular telescope in the first place. So if that's the case, you're probably going to want a camouflage net. In either case, you can either use it as a long-range sniper, stick binocular telescopes on it, or a camo net, or use it as a fast tank destroyer that rushes forward and holds and occupies strategic positions, in which case improved ventilation, or a camo net. This thing doesn't appear to suffer from the ammo rack problems that the Object 263 does, so you don't really need a wet ammo rack on this thing. So those would be my recommendations. You want a gun lane drive, you want a gun rammer, and then depending on how you're going to play it, sitting at the back, long range sniping, camo net, or binocular telescopes. Rushing forward, taking the fight to the enemy, camo net, or improved ventilation. And as far as crew skills go, I basically have the same recommendation for almost every tank destroyer, unless they have a glaring flaw like 18 degrees traverse, in which case, yeah, you want clutch braking on the driver, but this one doesn't. So, camo, 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 camo. And as soon as the commander reaches 100% camo, swap it for 6th sense. So, let's have a couple of games. So, here we go. This is one of my earliest games in the SU-122-54, and we're on South Coast. Not one of my favourite maps, but I don't especially dislike it. And, yeah, we've got 2 tier 9s, and 1 tier 8 heavy who's probably feeling very sorry for himself. Everybody else in this game is tier 10. I know there's a Panther 2 there as well, so yeah. Horrible matchmaking. Unfortunately, you're going to have to get used to this on the test server. Everybody is playing tier 10s, because everybody gets 100 million credits and 100 million XP, so everybody can play tier 10s. The plus side of that, of course, is that you get lots of people on the test server who don't have a clue how to drive their tier 10s, so, you know, you can have fun with them. Now there's nobody over here. Oh no, we've got some mediums as well. There's a bat chat, there's a couple of other guys rushing up front, so I'm going to support the mediums. Let's see what we can see. Got T62A, a bat chat. Oh, and here comes some heavies. Excellent, this is what we like to see. Right, let's back these guys up. Although we are looking kind of weak on the centre and over in the west. So we'll keep our options open. And there's an Object 263. Everybody seems to be shooting at it. I don't have a shot from here though. And with this many friendly tanks on this side of the map, we're sure to be attracting artillery attention. There's an IS-3 over there. Don't have a shot at him either. T63's taken a savage beating. Oh, we appear to have a shot. No, the IS-7's a bigger problem. Can only really see his turret though. Maybe take a shot at his gun. Yeah, I think we knocked his gun out, which is nice. Didn't do any damage, but we hit him, so we probably critted, and we were aiming at his gun, so yeah. Now that Object 263, who should have been stuck in a dead end up there, has actually jumped over the edge of the cliff to get out of the way. And I have jumped over the cliff to get around this IS-7. Victory through science, the application of physics. Can we finish off this IS-7 before the bat chat? I'm pretty sure we can. Yeah. Okay, there's a T-34 capped over there. They're likely to have tank destroyers on the ridge over to the left. But, ooh, look at the map. The west coast is horribly vulnerable, and this is something that you can do very, very well in this thing because it is so quick. You can respond to threats like that and bring your firepower of this S-70 gun to bear very, very quickly. And this is something else you wouldn't be able to do on the live server. Get down there. Okay, Jagdpanzer E100 and an E50M up on that ridge. We need to be careful here. Let's see what we can do. Right, I will be very, very vulnerable, exposing my lower glacis as I come over this ridge line. You know, it's all going to depend on which way their guns are facing. Oh, and I'm stuck. Oh, that was close. Okay, I'm going to have to go a bit wider than anticipated. Right, definitely the E50M, he's an easier kill, and the Jagdpanzer is facing the other way, so he's tracked, but he does have a turret. But the E50M has lousy gun depression. So... okay, that took care of that problem for me. Now, which way is that Jagdpanzer E100 facing? Oh, he's facing the other way. Hey, hey, we're going to have you, Sonny Jim. Shoot him in the side. Nah, he's tracked. Shoot him in the back.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Booyah! Oh, and there's a subscriber. Just spotted me in chat. Sons of Liberty, or Stallion of Liberty rather, from the EU server. If you're watching this video, hi! And we've definitely got the numbers now to get an easy win here. All we have to do is, it looks like their entire team is trying to cap. So let's go and sort that out. And again, this thing is just fast, so fast that you have no problems going back and dealing with stuff like this. And you really should, you know, that really should be your responsibility if you're driving this thing. Ooh, 263. Tracked him. Excellent. Easy kill now. He's got his flank exposed. Oh, he's repaired his tracks. Okay, I'm going to try to get one into the gap next to his gun mantle. Got him. And now all they have left is an IS-7. 3 kills in a tier 10 game. That ain't bad. And bounced. Trying to aim for the cheek of the front plate. But look at this. It's just a melee now. And no, that one actually hit the wreck of the 263 in front of us, but he's dead, we're not. So, good game. So, yet another match absolutely stacked with tier 10 vehicles, and 2/3 of all of the tanks on this map are tier 10. On our side we've got 3 tier 9s including me, 1 arty and a scout. On their side they've got 2 tier 9s, 2 scouts and 1 arty. Now you can look at this one of 2 ways. You can say, well, how the hell am I supposed to get a good idea of how this machine performs if it's constantly having to kill vehicles higher tier than it? But that's the fact of life on this test server. Everybody can drive tier 10s, so everybody is driving tier 10s. Most of them driving them very, very badly, but occasionally you do come across people who know what they're doing. That happens to me in this very short clip. But the other way that you can look at it is that, well, you know, if you can do well when everything you're shooting at is higher tier than you, you know, that's one way of really putting the machine through its paces. And yeah, that's, you know, always look on the bright side. Glass is half full and all that. And boy oh boy, in this very short fight, that is exactly what happened. Now there's a lot happens very, very quickly here, so do pay attention, 007. Here we go. First of all, 2/3 of the enemy team come rushing over here, and there aren't an awful lot of us fighting them off. I've taken 2, I think I'm about, there we go, to take a 3rd hit there. None of them did any damage. And every one of those shots hit my gun mantle. As far as I can tell, I can't exactly see where the 3rd one went, but there you go. And that just seems to confirm it. I mean, that was, I think, the Lorraine and the T-62A's gun, and neither of them can get through that gun mantle. If they'd hit anywhere else to the left or right, it might have just bounced thanks to that slope, and also due to the fact that I am backing up. The front of my vehicle is higher up than the rear of my vehicle, which increases that slope even further and makes it harder to hit the weak spot on the top, the rangefinder. So yeah, Might be a tier 10 game, but we're still very well protected. And as you can see, every single one of our shots is hitting and penetrating. So we can certainly dish it out as well. And we have an Object 263 driving right into the middle of a pack of medium and heavy tanks. And I really don't rate his chances very highly.
Enemy is hit.
What this guy thinks, you see what I mean? If anybody can drive a tier 10 vehicle, any old idiot will drive a tier 10 vehicle. But, you know, I'm taking advantage of these guys' insistence on dealing with him instead of finishing me off, and exposing themselves to me in their attempts to hit that 263 from the front. So, it's not all bad. And I'll take my first damaging hit.
Looks like that one went right through.
Now, pause it here. Now, I was at this point contemplating trying to finish off that T-62A. Danger. And that's when I spot the bat chat. Now, quickly pause it. Remember what I was saying about how if any old idiot can drive a tier 10, then any old idiot will be driving a tier 10. Gonna have to give credit where credit's due. This bat chat driver was not any old idiot. Watch this. Now, he figures he's gonna get hit on the way down, but that doesn't stop him. Watch where he hits me. Yep, blows my tracks off with his first shot. This guy is good. You know, he knows how to take down tank destroyers. And I use my repair kit. So plonks one into my side. He sees I've used the repair kit. Guess where his next shot goes?
We're immobilized.
He's got 2 shots left. And he puts one right
We've had it. Let's get out of here.
in what I presume is the ammo rack. So, Black Labe from Russia, if you're watching this, well played. So, yeah, we had a little bit of everything in that video. I mean, the odds were highly stacked against us, and unfortunately, our team were just abysmal. I mean, look at the scores, 2-6. In a tier 9 tank destroyer, in a match with 10 tier 10 tanks on each side, a tier 9 has got half the team's kills and done 4 times the damage of the rest of the team combined. So that was a foregone conclusion. And when they got players like that Batchat driver on the enemy team, we didn't stand a chance. Not with the clowns and buffoons we had on our team. But, you know, you get morons playing the game on the live server. Those same morons are entirely free to play the game on the test server. You can't win them all. So, but I do feel that clip, while it wasn't a magnificent result for us, we certainly got our money's worth out of this little tier 9 tank destroyer in this match. One good kill, beat up a whole bunch of other tier 9s and 10s. But a decent Batchat driver who knows how to take his shots is going to kill you every time in this thing. You might get one shot into them. You're rarely going to be lucky enough to get 2. And it takes 3 shots minimum from this thing to kill a Batchat. So, yeah, it's a very fast, it's a very agile tank destroyer, but it isn't a medium tank. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't get too confident in this thing. Still, not a terrible game from our perspective. Now, this is one of those rare games on the test server where you're in a tier 9 vehicle and you are top tier. Which is kind of unusual. So there's a couple of tier 7s in this game. They're probably wondering what they've done to deserve this. Although, well, this is probably the majority of the sort of games that even the tier 7s are looking at. As you can see, we're heavily dominated by tier 9s here. There's 2 tier 8s, 2 tier 7s, and a couple of scouts. It's a straightforward standard battle on Haluf. And that's also, I'm finding, unusual on the test server. Because you can select which kind of battles you want to get into. You don't have to do encounter battles anymore, you don't have to do assault battles anymore. So I've turned off assault, because if I never, ever see assault on Prokhorovka again, it will be about 1 billion years too soon. So I have encounter and standard battles is the only kind of battles I will get into. Oops, sorry E75, wasn't watching where I was going. And so I get the impression that the majority of players have turned off everything other than standard battles, because I seem to get a lot of encounter battles. Or it could just be that the encounter battles on the maps that previously didn't have encounter battles have got higher rotation priority, just so people can actually play the games and see what they're like. Anyway, here we go. Great little scouting effort there. Lighting up all these enemy tanks as they're going up the hill.
Looks like that one went right through.
Whoop the hell out of that Super Pershing. They're very, very hard to penetrate from the front with that spaced armor, but from the sides, easy. Now, we've lost both of our scouts. Not good. And I sincerely hope that IS-3 isn't thinking of camping on the corner and sniping, because that's my job. I'm going to wait and see what that T-30 sees as he goes up the hill. He's got plenty of backup, 2 heavies and a medium, and I will provide some overwatch fire from up here. Oh, there we go, there's a pattern, that's all we can see. Well, I'll bet you there's more up there. Pattern, Lorraine, and that Super Pershing's still in the game. There he is. Oh, they have an M103. Okay, he's a much juicier target. Oh, where'd he go? Take the shot anyway. And that one looks like it hit. Whether it penetrated and did damage is anybody's guess. Those guys are taking a good beating up there, that's good, but we're still losing 4-0. Guys, stop dying.
Enemy is hit.
Ah, right, okay. We didn't hit the M103 with our first shot. We're not going to reload in time to get that IS. But we did hammer that M103 and more importantly tracked him on our second shot. Our third shot looks like it blew the tracks off again. And another good hit. He is so dead. And the way his turret's turning, he doesn't even look as if he knows what's shooting at him. Oh, come on. Why does this always happen? Why is it when the next shot is about to kill the enemy tank, all you do is 0 damage penetrating hits?
Enemy is hit.
And again, you watch, somebody else is going to get a kill. Typical. How typical is that? Oh, whatever. I don't begrudge E75s getting kills. Alright. Oh, hello, Mr. Object 704. Where do you think you're going? Ah, missed. And he doesn't seem to have a clue I am sitting here, 70 metres away, with this gun on his right. So, yeah. And I don't even get that kill. Ugh, robbed. I was robbed, I tell you. Now, the enemy team are probably raging at this point. They were 4-0 up at the start, and suddenly we've pulled it back to 6-6. This thing doesn't have amazing gun depression, but I'm willing to take the chance because I haven't taken any hits. And god damn it, E75, very, very well angled, lower glacis there. That driver clearly knows what he's doing, so I need to pay him a bit of respect. Still have 1100 health, and that IS-8 can't really afford to take any more hits. So, get the easier kill first. And now look how low down this thing is. I'll have problems finding something I can shoot at here. But our other SU-122 comes up behind him and gets killed by their SU-152. I saw that one coming. Okay, push this guy's wreck out of the way and try to get past him. Because the only way that SU-152 over there was able to kill him was from residual spotting by the E75 that he killed. But now the E75's dead, the SU-152 doesn't have the view range to see what's going on up here. So it should now be safe to continue over the top of the hill. And we're I mean, it's anybody's game. We are actually losing again. I'd prefer to take a shot at the SU-152 because he's not AFK. But I can't see the SU-152, so I will put a shot into that AFK IS-8 sitting in their cap circle. Here comes the SU. Is the IS-8 going to get him, or is he going to get the IS-8? IS-8 gets him. Good for him. Scores are even again. 10-10. This was a great game. I mean, it was going. It was, you know, they were winning. We pulled it back. They started winning again. We pulled it back again. It was a really, really good match. Two really evenly matched teams. Those are the best games. So they've got that AFK IS-8, a Type 59, and an AMX-48 tank destroyer. And looking at who's left, I think we've got this in the bag. So let's get some free experience from this IS-8.
That's gotta hurt.
Aware, of course, that they still have artillery in play. And while that IS-8's sitting in the cap circle, even if he is AFK, he's spotting us for their artillery, and there it is. It's killed our IS-8. Okay, well, you're going to pay for that, Sonny Jim. And he's tracked. Well, I would have preferred, and he's dead, but I'll take what I can get. And we'll finish him off at our leisure. Oh, you're kidding me. Below average damage roll. Fantastic. Well, yeah, there's no way this thing is getting around me in a hurry.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
This is an incredibly agile Tier 9 tank destroyer. Okay, what do they have left? And we're winning at last. Oh, there goes their Type 59, so all we have left is a 48 Tier 8 tank destroyer, and oh, I can have you, Sonny Jim. Now, while this thing doesn't have great gun depression, it does have pretty good gun elevation.
Enemy vehicle
So you're
destroyed.
able to hit targets on the other end of the battlefield like that very, very well. Yeah, if you're on a downward slope shooting across a valley at somebody on an upward slope on the other side, a lot of tanks and tank destroyers wouldn't have that kind of gun elevation to be able to take the shot. On this thing, not an issue. So, how did we do? And here's the result of that SU-122-54 game. And we did quite well. And again, this is the first look at the detailed battle breakdown screen, which you only get in the garage after the battle now, rather than in the game itself. So there we go, second class mastery badge. Yeah, not bad. Master gunner, not bad. 42,280 credits, 2,534 experience. And again, the breakdown, what it would have been without premium account, what it is with the premium account, or vice versa, depending on whether or not you have a premium account at the time. And our own battle efficiency, and that answers the question I was asking in my Object 263 review. I just got it the wrong way around. This icon here, damage to enemy vehicle by allies upon your lighting. So in other words, when we detect an enemy tank, and while we are the ones detecting that enemy tank, how many of our team shot at it. So there's that IS-8. And this one over here, we detected. So what this is telling me here is I wasn't the first person to spot that IS-8, but nobody else shot at him when he was first spotted. Then I spotted him, and he took 3 hits from our allies. So there's 50% of their XP and credits awarded for that. For that IS-8, it was AFK pocked in their deployment zone. I hit him twice, did 832 damage. This one is vehicles that we spotted, so that IS that was crossing the open field that I spotted, but while I was spotting him, nobody shot at him. Then he disappeared off my radar, and then somebody else killed him. So somebody else will see that on their post-battle results for that IS Tier 7 tank there. 1, 2, 3 kills. Damaged a whole bunch. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 other tanks that we didn't kill, that we damaged, so no Confederate award. And, ooh, what's this? Oh yeah, critical damage, of course, so a couple of crits scored. It's nice that it gives you this breakdown. Let's have a look at team score. And again, I still don't know what this means, but whatever it was, we got 40% of it. It doesn't seem to be split amongst the team because these percentages don't add up to 100, so I have no idea what that is. Doubtless that somebody has already replied to my Object 263 video and told me what that means, but as I'm recording this, I still haven't got a clue. You mouse over it, it doesn't tell you. And again, you can sort the results by all of these different tabs here. Player name, player tank driven, whatever that is. Number of kills, yay! Joint top with the most kills. Raw experience, so this T-29 did exceptionally well, but you'd expect him to. It was a tier 9 game in a tier 7 heavy tank, so he got a lot of XP. We got 845, but that's before modifiers are applied, so just hold your horses on that experience. And then, who got what battle awards? And I got sniper. Enemy team get anything? No. Yeah, screw you, enemy team. Detailed report, however, here we go. And there, damage caused by allies upon my lighting. So that's that IS-8 that I detected, and he got the snot pounded out of him while I was the one who had detected him. And here's your detailed breakdown. 17 fired, 15 hits. How many hits did we receive? 2. Okay, happy with that. 14 penetrating hits, 3,600 damage caused, and so on, and so on, and so on. Your credit breakdown, with and without premium, and experience. Now this is something that is probably going to answer a question that a couple of people might have had. Obviously, without premium, greyed out, because I am running a premium account here on the test server. 1,267 XP, 126 of that as bonus free experience, doubled 2,534. The free experience bonus isn't doubled, so there you go. And as always, from here you can have a look and see in this little drop down box here which of your other vehicles you still need to get your daily double on, pick them, hit the battle button and go straight in. So again, a fantastic post-battle results screen, something that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. So that was the SU-122-54. Not a bad machine, I do kind of like it. It's not without its limitations, but it's a fun tank to drive. Horrible gun traverse, but the gun is pretty good, and it's a very fast machine. So, hope you enjoyed those replays and the review. Catch you on the battlefield. Take care, and I'll see you next time.